Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video I have some very exciting and special information to bring to you that is going to be a list of characters that in the future will be made available to be awakened. If you aren't sure how the awakening system really works, there should be a link in the top right hand corner just going over it in a bit more detail so you can understand. But in essence, it is taking older, more unused characters that have kind of fallen out of the meta and bringing them up to a bit more standard, generally speaking, increasing their stats or rebalancing their stats, increasing the power of their rushes, signature moves, and so on and so forth, as we have seen with the original character that did get awakened, which was Gold Mythic Negan. As we can see in the museum, Gold Mythic Negan is still here and available. We can obviously just see him as a character. The art on the left hand side I believe is due to be updated on the visuals. There is a bit more of a glowing effect on the visuals on the left hand side, but pretty much the rest is as it is in my preview video of him, and if you haven't checked that out you should. All the following characters are going to get the same sort of treatment that Negan has here that video shows, where their rushes will just increase in power, signature moves, and potentially even their passives. Now, if we look at the original information that was provided to us in the actual Mythic Awakening post by Scopely, you can see in the breakdown it does actually highlight the fact that the first two fighters that are going to be awakened are going to be Negan, who we already have, and Gold Mythic Governor. And that Gold Mythic Governor is going to be this one, the old school Outlast Red Gov, who was a big favourite at the beginning of the Mythic era, very powerful defense character, and he's obviously going to be a little bit more powerful than he currently is when he gets awakened. His rush, signature move, and passives could potentially get a boost. I have heard, and this is just potentially a rumour here, even maybe specialist skills could get changed to their more advanced types. So for instance, if you have a character that is on a roll, they could be boosted up to on a roll 2. This is yet to be confirmed, and we'll have to see when a character that is actually an old specialist, where they could get boosted up, what happens when they are awakened. Outlast in this case does not have an advanced version of Outlast, so it would just be an Outlast character. As with the original awakened character Negan, most characters that become awakened will keep the essence of what that character was providing. There won't be any grand changes to how that character works, just their general overall power. So this is information we already knew, obviously, Governor being next, but here's some special information on the two next characters to come after Negan of Governor. They're generally going to come in batches of 2. The first of the 2 is going to be Gold Mythic Cal, and that is the Guardian 2 character that already exists. It is another character that is in the progression mission, so very accessible for free to play, and honestly one of the best all-round characters in the game at low level. Would 100% be a really good support character for attack teams. The Guardian shields are great. Other parts of his kit are good as well. He actually brings pretty decent control to the table with that signature move. But Cal is going to be one of the next 2, and I am actually pretty happy with this one. The other character is going to be another favourite of mine. It is going to be a Telltale character, and it is going to be Gold Mythic Lee. And here he is. It is Gold Mythic Lee. He was released in the original Mythic Trials for Season 1. Now Telltale has become an overall allegiance. He could potentially be more tanky and usable on defense teams with the new Clementine that has been released. We'll have to see what happens with that stat balance, also potentially what happens with the changes to his kit. But do remember, on his kit he does have some revive potential, which is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Again, another character with a specialist skill that cannot get boosted, so it would generally hope that it would just remain a command. Lee didn't really do much when he got released. I think he was kind of outclassed by the actual command that was already released, which was Rick 2K. So I do hope he gets pushed, honestly, to be more of a defensive version of a command. However, I do believe right now command maybe has slight issues on defense, so we'll have to see what actually happens here. But I'm actually quite happy with this. He was easily the least utilized character out of the Telltale characters that were originally released with the Season 1 Mythic Trial. So that's the next 2 characters, but I do have information on the 2 more after that. So you can potentially say that these 2 characters in Cal and Lee could potentially be in September sometime. And then the next 2 characters that I'm going to tell you could potentially be in October sometime. Do remember these dates do change. Obviously, Scopely can release these characters as they wish. So just imagine that these are just going to be roughly the order that they're going to be coming out in. But it will, generally speaking, be in batches of 2. And the next characters are going to be Maggie Green, who is going to be another progression mission character. Honestly, probably one of the better ones in there, obviously. She is the newer character in there. And she actually has pretty high usability. And I do see her on the odd defense team, even in teams that have got a lot of advanced and ultra characters, because she is a bodyguard. And she obviously is pretty decent. I think she's actually overall a pretty nice character. Visually, kind of interesting as well. I think a lot of people were kind of happy with the fact that Maggie Green came out, because I think this was the first gold mythic Maggie. I could be wrong. And a lot of characters will have this character on their roster. Like I said, she was part of the progression missions, very accessible. However, if you for whatever reason decided to sell this character, you could be in trouble, because you can't get this character elsewhere except the progression missions. However, that being said, with the Negan Awakening, part of his missions and roadmaps, you could actually get copies of him from those roadmaps. So the potential could happen with Maggie. We'll have to wait and see. And lastly, the other character that's going to be in this batch of 2 characters is going to be Gold Mythic Glenn, the yellow Glenn, the one that gave AP when hitting crits. Quite a usable character in very kind of niche teams. A lot of the time I used him in Conquest myself, and this is, like I say, going to be another character that's going to be available in the future to be awakened. I think Glenn here is a character that is a favourite of a lot of people. I did see a lot of people asking, when are we going to get a new Glenn? When are we getting a new Glenn? We did actually get one in the actual anniversary event that's currently ongoing, but we are going to get a nice boost to the older version, which I think could potentially be interesting. He is a control character. He has a lot of AP control on his kit, and the fact that he can give AP boosts in there as well could be like really cool in terms of getting things off nice and early for your teams. Glenn is also a leader, and as we saw with Negan, he did have his leader skills slightly boosted, so it is going to be interesting to see what they decide to do there. So we have got Governor to be coming out with Negan, then we have Lee and Cal, and then we have Maggie and Glenn. So that's it, just on a little bit of a sneak peek at information on upcoming characters that are going to be awakened. This could obviously be changed at any time. This is obviously up to Scopely if they want to change it. This is an upcoming small list of characters that I have been provided with that will be available to be awakened over the coming months. Do tell me which one of these characters you're most excited about seeing having an awakened version. Are there any other characters that have kind of fallen out of the meta that you'd love to see in the future? Please post your comments down below. That is in my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.